Well, Todd, thanks for being with us today.
Steve.
We saw the game at the Microsoft conference, saw a trailer, got to play a little bit of it today, but you've got even more to show us.
You know, at the Microsoft conference, you're really pressed for time, so we like to kind of go through it more in depth. We have a lot of other stuff to show, you know, because the game is really, really deep, so look forward to showing it off today.
Great, let's get right to it.
Okay. So some of this, if you watch the Microsoft thing, you've seen before. But this is Fallout 3. It takes place in the year 2277 in post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C. And, you know, we're really pushing the hardware, whether that's the PC, the 360, or the PS3, easily drawing twice as many objects than we were with Oblivion. So, you know, a nice comfort zone now with the technology after doing such a big game like Oblivion, and we can put all of that to bear on Fallout 3. And you can play in first person, you can play in third person. So it really is a game where you can make any kind of character you want and do what you want. We have an iBot up here.
It's nice to have that option in regards to first person versus third person.
Yeah, we found with Oblivion, surprising number of people wanted to play in third person, but it kind of sucked in that game. So we spent a lot of time like, okay, you know, how do we make that better? And plus you got guns and things like that, so you need a nice, like the center of the screen needs to be open for you to shoot. So it's a little more, you know, Resident Evil style over the shoulder camera. Here's my Pip-Boy, the Pip-Boy 3000, which acts as your, you know, PDA for looking at all of your stats. You know, you have charisma, be pretty nice with the ladies, and you can talk to people and persuade them. You can go the combat route, the stealth route, and then of course you have perks, which are these are things you can pick when you level up.
Right.
So a lot of the classic ones from Fallout Return, including Bloody Mess, which if I read that, makes people explode into a red, gut-ridden, eyeball-strewn paste. So people die just gloriously funny in this game if you have that perk.
Right.
And then I have lots of items and different weapons you can use to do that, you know, sniper rifles, things like that.
I like the way you've built in a lot of the HUD elements and a lot of the inventory management as part of the game. Like, it's within the context of the world.
You know, we spent probably the first 6 months of the project just on the Pip-Boy. Because this is the kind of game where, you know, these role-playing elements, you spend a lot of time looking at your own stats. Like, who am I and what's good about me, going through the numbers, and then how do we make that entertaining? Our joke is that we ran out of places to put pixel shaders, so now we put them on the fonts.
Right.
So we have, you know, the screen will blur and shake, and here you have radios that you can tune in, like Enclave Radio, which that iBot. The Enclave are the remnants of the U.S. government.
Right.
And these
So that's a lot of establishment propaganda kind of stuff?
Yeah, they're kind of behind the scenes, a little spooky. And then you know, as you play the game, you find out what they're up to. Let's switch to my sniper rifle here.
I'm just amazed at the details. I mean, you mentioned the world, and you've just packed it with so many things that you can look at, and they all have some sort of relevance to the story you've tried to create here.
Yeah, you know, our artists and our designers really good at filling out the world and every nook and cranny of it with, you know, really interesting content. And a lot of times the world is what's going to tell your story for you. You know, and you see these propaganda posters, or, you know, what was that world like? We became very interested in the world that got destroyed more than the destruction. So this, you know, retro, futuristic, kind of the Tomorrowland that they were dreaming up in the 1950s.
Just to jump on what Steve was saying, you know, you guys are notorious for putting a lot of Easter eggs in your games. Like, are we going to get any of? Yes, yes, you are. Are we going to get any of that in this?
There's some good stuff, but they're Easter eggs, so I'm not, you know, I'm not going to
tell
tell
you
you
I'm
what
not
the
asking
eggs
to give
are.
them away. I just want to know that they're out there so I can go looking for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, and some of them, you know, they seem like Easter eggs when you play, but there's just so much content in the game that no matter if I were to sit down and play it, or Steve, or you each are finding different things in the game, and that's what's so cool about it. What I'm showing here is VATS. You saw me kill the one guy in real time, and then here's VATS, which is our Vault-Tec assisted targeting system, which allows you to queue up moves and then use your action points, which are down on the bottom right, and then kind of play it out a little more strategically, and then you press the A button and see what happens.
When you're rewarded with sort of a different kind of cinematic experience here, we're seeing. That's nice. That's the Bloody Mess you were talking about, right?
That's some Bloody Mess with the sniper rifle.
I've got a question about this VATS thing, because when I was playing earlier today, I was interested in sort of understanding the balance between my skills as a player and my character's stats. Like, I wasn't sure if I was missing a guy because I sucked or because my character sucked. Where's the balance there?
That was really hard for us to strike. So what happens is in VATS, it's purely your character.
Okay.
You know, that's going to be a numbers game there. In real time, it's a mix. You know, if you can get them in the center of the screen, but also your skill is also going to your skill is going to determine how well you aim a bit, and then if you press the left trigger or the right mouse button on the PC, your character can aim in and kind of compensate for that skill. But while you're aiming, you can't run or anything like that.
Right.
So what you find is as your skill increases, you don't have to rely on the aiming as much. And then your skill also affects how much damage you do. What I'm showing here is all of the aids. I just picked up this Chinese Spec Ops manual, so I can actually read that, and it increases my sneak skill. So there are magazines that you find or books. You know, the Big Book of Science will raise your science skill. There are various drugs you can take, like Jet from the previous games. Gives you more action points. Psycho's going to let me do more damage. But you can also become addicted to the drugs if you abuse them.
That's a good message to send. Now, can you put this area of the world into context for us relative to the overall
story?
story?
I'm kind of on the outskirts of the city. I have left the safety of Underground Vault 101, where I grew up, and I'm out searching for my father. And I'm kind of in the area between the wasteland and downtown D.C. This is going to use my grenade on this guy. You can use any weapon you want in VATS. So I'm making my way down toward downtown D.C.
Well, I know you're not going to talk about the actual story or the missions. That's nice.
Jeez.
Can you explain to us a little bit about who the Raiders are and where they fit in?
They're kind of like the bandits of this world. Did I get him? Good. Oh, this missile guy, he always pisses me off.
You know, there's no shame in dying in your own demo.
And my legs just got crippled. Take some stim packs. Let me deal with this guy. This is always good. Oh, boy.
We had a couple other people come in that got somewhat close to dying in their own
so
demo.
This is a Raider camp here with these guys. He's going to switch to his knife. He's smart enough not to try to missile me at a really close range.
He wasn't smart enough to see that coming, though.
He ran right into that blast. There's a turret
Is that
up
his
here.
spine that just got pulled out of his back?
We do, yeah, you know, there's some parts. Our guy who models, our artist who models all of the gore, he has a sign on his desk for the nausea induction level. So when you walk by his desk, you don't mistakenly see some stuff. His like reference material of these cadavers. This turret up here, you can actually take control of these by hacking into computers. So this uses your science skill. So if you have the right science skill, you can go in and hack into the computer. This is just kind of an intro screen you can skip. And it plays like this modified game of Mastermind, where you're in like the BIOS of the computer looking for what the password might be. You have to, this is actually random, so I usually often fail this. So it's going to show you how many letters in that password that you chose are correct.